Indonesia. The first floor of a modern building in the capital city, Jakarta. This is the meeting place for a heretical Hindu sect that follows the teachings of Guru As Ashak. This guru maintained that the Hindus should not only venerate that symbol of fertility, the sacred cow, but also honor the noble horse. The flying horse, on which the divine hero Indra conquered the world. Indra was the son of a mother goddess, a mare who gave birth to divine beings and to men. Winged horses, sons of the goddess. One of the men in the dance will be chosen to become one with the goddess. When that happens, the man will feel himself transformed physically into a young colt, the son of a female divinity. Symbol of righteousness and goodness, the most loving of all mothers. The chosen one falls into a trance. He has become a horse and eats like his divine ancestor. The priest uses a whip to indicate the path of virtue and to bar the way to evil. An example of total identification under hypnosis. We have dedicated this episode to similar acts of devotion. Above all, devotion to the figure of the Mother Goddess among peoples in many parts of the world. Volcanic islands of the Central Pacific Ocean. Here, the symbol of fire and the Earth's explosive violence is the goddess Pele. A female godhead representing two unrestrainable natural forces, creation and destruction. The terrain of her island realm bursts apart. Lava flows out of the fissures and cools to create a new surface. An example of geographical evolution that has inspired Pele's role as the mother goddess in Polynesian mythology. A goddess born from energy and material released from the bowels of the earth. Energy that is also synonymous with rage. And so, with death. When Pelé is angry and breathes fire, there is no escape for the people of these islands and their villages. It is not only the lava stream that kills, but also the poisonous fumes that the volcano spews into the air. In the words of a prayer to Pelé, "O Mother Goddess, today you seek not life but death. But if your anger, O Pelé, is our death, we know that we have deserved it, that we deserve pain and suffering." Today you have punished us by destroying our homes. But tomorrow, O Pelé, you will smile on us again. The terrible Mother Goddess, revered and feared by the Polynesians. A Mother Goddess born from the earth. Consequently, she can never destroy all trace of life. On the other side of the world, in the dawn of European civilizations, communities in the Mediterranean region used to worship a similar goddess associated with the earth, Persephone, wife of the god Hades. Persephone was the mother goddess of fertility to whom Mediterranean peasant farmers used to pray for a plentiful harvest. The gift of fertility is represented in this classical period statue of the mother goddess Proserpina by her black face, black because it is the color that symbolizes the earth. Multiple breasts with which to nurse the innumerable sons of a generous earth. A statue that was venerated with honey-sweet love. And in fact, bees provide a symbolic decoration for the goddess's robe. Over 3,000 years later, many of these Mediterranean farming communities adopted the Christian religion. They switched their allegiance from Proserpina to the Virgin Mary, to whom they gave a black face, so that they would not forget their debt to the earth's fertility. The influence of the Black Madonna, protectress of the Mediterranean peasant farmer, spread throughout Europe and has survived to the present day, especially in Poland. The Black Madonna of Częstochowa is worshipped by millions of people. Not surprisingly, when one considers that Poland has always had the largest farming population of all the Eastern European countries. This precious 12th century icon of the Divine Mother with the black face is shown in public only on very rare occasions. From the bleak mists of Northern Europe, we return to the light-drenched Mediterranean to discover a region in which man worships in the figure of that same Divine Mother, the Virgin Protectress not only of those who work the fields, but also of those whose harvest is in the sea. The women in many communities along the Mediterranean coast inherit the secret of how to pray to the Madonna, as they once prayed for protection against the Saracens, for protection against the Arab pirates who raided these shores for 1,000 years. According to a local legend in southern Italy, a woman avenged herself on the pirates by praying for a sea storm, and all the Saracen pirates were swallowed up by the sea. The most valuable object seized by the pirates was washed up on shore when the sea calmed. The sacred image of the community. The painting in oil and gold leaf represents the Virgin Mary, Mother of God and protectress of the sailors of Trapani. This ceremony takes place every year on an evening in August and celebrates the miraculous return of the Divine Mother, protectress of the local fishermen. More lights in the night. In this case, they are a reminder of those who went to sea and never came back. Sailors and fishermen who grew up in the towns and villages of this part of the coast. In the Italian region of Campania, these extraordinary votive boats made from candles are offered to the Madonna during a religious festivity to seek her protection for local sailors. The sanctuaries dedicated to the Madonna are in villages high up on the cliffs along the coast. The candle boats are carried in procession to be offered to the Mother Maria. As a sign of penitence, relatives of fishermen and sailors often walk many miles carrying their votive offerings. Fathers, brothers, wives. These intricate votive models are created in the course of the year by the mothers, sisters, brides, and daughters of those who work at sea. The gift represents a bond between women who know all there is to know about love as pain and anguish. The blessing puts the Church's seal of approval on this act of complicity between the women of the seafaring families and the Divine Mother. It is now up to the men. They carry the statue of the Holy Mother down to a boat. They show her the course to take toward the open sea. But in return, she must assume the responsibility of making sure that during the year, no boat will fail to return to land, and that all sailors will come safely home. The most important and the most spectacular ceremony in honor of the Virgin Mary in her role as protectress of sailors takes place in Naples. Here she is known as the Madonna of the Arch. And her image is painted on sashes worn by the faithful. Once again, boats are used as votive offerings. These models of fishing vessels are made with thousands and thousands of matchsticks. As we have seen, these offerings are sometimes carried on long pilgrimages. In many cases, the devotees are barefoot. No easy enterprise, especially since the ceremonies are invariably at the end of the winter and are often hindered by bad weather. Bad weather at sea, storms and sudden squalls, are a constant source of worry for the fishermen in their small boats. They are the central figures of this procession. Every year, the crowd of believers and the number of gifts grow larger. Every year, there are more people seeking help. More victims of misfortune who plead for themselves or their relatives in the hope that the Holy Mother will work a miracle.
Mamma bella! Andiamo, così.
Anguish and hope generate an increasingly higher level of emotional tension that then explodes uncontrollably. The act of resorting to supernatural help is charged with Latin passion and carried out with that often spontaneous sense of theater so typical of the Neapolitan character. In the sanctuary dedicated to the Virgin Mary, we find out what happens to the gifts. Thousands and thousands of votive offerings, accumulated year after year, line the walls of the building. In the gloom, we find an account of danger on the high seas and of the supernatural help that the survivor believed was responsible for saving him. The help of a mother revered by the faithful not only for her sacred identity, but above all for the love she bestows on them. A love that is returned with the physical, irrefutable feeling that all men have toward the woman who brought them into the world. Springtime in Spain. We are in Andalusia. These flowers will be picked and taken to the nearby pueblos to make decorations for Holy Week. The people are deeply religious, and their love for Mary, the Holy Mother, is expressed in impressive, tiring village processions in this area high in the mountains. The faithful toil up the steep path that leads to their village from the valley far below in a manifestation of collective penitence and mourning for the death of Christ. This is the village of Osuna, swathed in mourning out of respect for the anguish of the Virgin Mother. The villagers dedicate a love song to this woman. The mother who will have to watch her son die on the cross. Troops from the Spanish Foreign Legion, El Tercio, also take part in the procession. On the other side of the village, a statue of Christ is carried up the hill under the weight of the cross. Above all, it is with the drama of Christ's mother that the entire community identifies. A drama full of human suffering that everyone can understand. There is nothing supernatural about pain. Pain so evident that it is the theme of an ancient local chant known as the Saeta. The Saeta is at the same time a man's declaration of love for a woman and the song of an entire people to a divine protectress. A hymn that is both sacred and profane, love and pain. The song's cadence reminds us that this land was under the domination of Islam for 500 years. And this heritage can be heard in every rendition of the Saeta. Flowers are an integral part of the festivity. After the procession that reveres the Virgin Mary's pain, there will be another to celebrate Christ's triumph. The magnificent Palm Sunday procession heralds the start of Holy Week in Seville, the capital of Andalusia. Throughout the week, everyone is waiting anxiously for the final day. The day the mother's anguish turns to joy. The day of resurrection. Buried in flowers, the statue of the Virgin of the Stars, a work by Spanish sculptor Martinez Montañez, seems to dance along in the procession, showing that the crowd that lines the city streets are not totally involved in the religious side of the event, as they express their exuberance through the rhythm of the Paso Doble. the ornate set piece honoring Christ. Note the lavish gold decoration. It is moving toward the bridge where it will meet the mother. In front and behind the procession, we find the hooded members of the Confrerias. On the other side of the city, the procession of the Virgin of the Stars keeps moving, always to the rhythm of the Paso Doble. This particular dance step is a favorite among young Andalusians, who usually dedicate it to the girl they love. In this case, it is performed by the whole population of Seville to show their love and respect for their sacred queen, the Holy Virgin Mary. The Holy Virgin Mary. Christians worldwide, beset by anguish and spurred on by hope, regard her as a symbol of love. And for this reason, they honor her with passion and set her on a pedestal in all her glory, the glory of a loving mother.